In this Autodesk Fusion tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a 3D printed pipe flange mount for 1-inch Schedule 40 PVC piping. If you look up the specifications for the outer diameter of PVC pipe in 1-inch size, Schedule 40, it says it's approximately 1.315 inches. That translates to 33.4 millimeters. If I measure this pipe with my calipers, I get approximately that. I get 33.45, sometimes I get 33.5. That's why it's a nominal dimension, because it can vary. So we'll add a little bit of clearance for the fit of the pipe into our flange. To get started, we're going to draw a sketch on the ground plane, then press C for a center diameter circle. This circle, I'll type 33.4. This is the size of the outer diameter of the Schedule 40 pipe. Now I'll go ahead and use an offset, and I'll make this offset something like 0.2 millimeters. That way I can adjust this later and everything will be made from that. A more robust way of designing this, instead of typing 0.2 millimeters, is to create a user parameter. So I'm going to go to Modify, Change Parameters. I'll make a new parameter. I'll label this parameter Clearance. And for the expression, I'm going to type 0.2. Double click this dimension. And instead of typing 0.2, I'll type Clearance. That way I can update clearance. In addition to that, I can use the offset command twice. I can click on the original pipe, offset it, the thickness of the wall that I want to use. For example, say I want a 10 millimeter thick wall. I can type 10 plus clearance. That way that wall thickness will update automatically when I update the clearance based on the 3D printer that I'm using. Now I need to draw another circle for the flange base. Press C, select the center point, move out to approximately 90 or 100 millimeters. I think 90 is plenty big for this. And now we're ready to extrude. Press E to extrude, and I want to get all of these pieces, the center, the clearance section, the wall, and the flange part. And I'll extrude up 8 millimeters. In Autodesk Fusion, whenever you use a sketch with an extrude operation or a sweep, it hides the sketch. So I'll re-show the sketch, then press E again, and this time I'm going to select that inner wall. To select through an object in Autodesk Fusion, click your left mouse button, hold, and then I can scroll through this list and select this profile. When I extrude this, I don't want it to start on the bottom, although that's fine. I want it to start at the top. So for the start section, I'm going to choose Object, and I'll start from the top of this object. I think 40 millimeters is a nice, strong flange. That way I can put some screws through here very easily. You could probably get away with 30 millimeters. That would work too. I'm going to press OK. Now I can hide this sketch. We need a couple things for our attachment points. We need to have screw holes through this part of the pipe and mounting holes here. So let's create a sketch on top of the flange base. Press P to project. Project in that outer section. Then press C to draw a circle. We're going to eventually make a hole tool, but this will allow us to place this circle just here. We'll use a horizontal vertical constraint to keep this circle horizontal to the origin. Then press L for the line tool. Click the center of the circle, draw straight across to this edge here. Press Escape. Press X to make this a construction line. Press D, select the outside of the circle, and we can give this a diameter of 9.5. Then I want to center the screw, so I'm going to project one more time. Click this outside wall edge here. Press OK. Press L for another line. Click the center of this circle. Click that edge. Select it. Press X for a construction line. Then use the equal constraint to make both of those equal. I'll finish the sketch, and I could extrude this down, but I'm going to use the hole command because then it'll automatically add any countersunk features that I need. Select hole, and I can have all the holes sketched out, but I'm going to do a circular pattern after this. So I'm going to select this point on the sketch, and now I can select countersunk hole, and this is going to go all the way through, so I don't want to have any taper down there. The head of a number 8 construction screw is about 9 millimeters, so we can go ahead and make this gap at the top be 9.2 to give it a little bit of clearance. The thread width of a coarse thread construction screw is approximately 4.4 millimeters. We want to have plenty of clearance for this to pass through, so we'll go ahead and type 5 millimeters here. We also need to make sure that the height of our hole is plenty. So remember that was 8. So we'll go ahead and make sure that is 8, and we can check to make sure it goes all the way through. It does. Select OK. Now we can pattern this hole around the flange. Click Pattern and make sure it's a circular pattern. And we're going to select Features. The feature will be the hole feature. Then the axis will be the center axis. You can either have 3, 4, or 5. I think 4 will be good for this particular mount. And press OK. Now we need to do the same thing on the side of this flange. We need to add a hole. But I don't have anywhere to sketch to make that hole. So let's construct a tangent plane. Select Construct, Tangent Plane. Select one of these faces, and then select OK. Now we can create a sketch directly on this plane. We'll press P to project, and we want to get this line and this line so we can actually center the hole. To show that you don't need a circle to make a hole in Fusion, I'm going to press L to draw a line. Then I'll draw down, and then one more line. Press Escape, select both of these lines, press X to make them construction lines, and then we can make them equal with the equal constraint. This will center that point right there. Then I can create point and select that point. Now I'll finish my sketch and I'm ready to make the hole for the mount. Create, select this point. It's going to be going in. It'll remember our settings from before, and you can see that that is going in, but remember that our flange is a bit longer than that. So we want to make sure that this is deep enough. 12 should cut all the way through. So that should be fine cutting through that flange. Although drilling into the PVC pipe with a number 8 screw is a bit large. The head on a number 6 construction screw is about 7.8 millimeters. So instead of having this be 6, we'll type 8. And then for the thread clearance on a number 6 construction screw, we need approximately 4 millimeters. So we can type 4.5 right here and then press OK. Once again, we're going to pattern this feature around. Select Pattern, make sure it's a circular pattern, make sure it's Features. Select the last hole feature. The axis will be that central axis one more time. And then we want 3 or 4. I'm going to increase this to 4, and now we have plenty of mount points for our PVC pipe. Select OK. There's just a couple of things we want to do to improve this print. Since we're 3D printing this, on the bottom, we want to make sure that we chamfer the edges. Select Modify Chamfer. We can just select the whole face. Make the chamfer a multiple of your layer height, so either 0.4 or 0.6. This will really help make sure that the print sits nice on the bed. Press OK. And then we can add some extra chamfers around here. Select Modify Chamfer, then select these top edges, and we'll make that 1 millimeter. Hold Control or Command, and then you can select this outside edge as well. Here we want to make the chamfer a bit larger, so select this line, Modify Chamfer, and we can increase this a bit more. We can go up to 4 millimeters before we start hitting our holes here, but if we change the type of the chamfer to distance and an angle, we can increase this angle to something like 60 degrees, and that'll raise that chamfer up. Because in 3D printing, we want to get as much volume as we possibly can. If I change that all the way up to 70 degrees, I start to get into the chamfer of the hole. So maybe 68 degrees gives us a little space, yet it also gives us plenty of structure for that flange. Press OK. And now we're ready to 3D print this. Hopefully this helps you make a quick pipe fitting mount for Schedule 40 1-inch PVC piping. Happy 3D modeling.